Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton.
Landscape photography can be presented as one of those sort of adventurous, epic endeavours where you have to climb the highest mountain, travel to the furthermost reaches of the globe, photograph the widest glaciated valley with the most epic light in order to sort of be successful and to be a real landscape photographer. But the truth is, the type of photography that I'm doing here today in this video is just as good, if not better, than that kind of epic, highly saturated stuff you see on Instagram. Now, don't get me wrong, I am a man of epic, highly saturated photography. I've been to Nepal, I've done Patagonia. In last week's video, I was camping out in the mountains, photographing the most vibrant orange and purple sunset you've ever seen, and I got a picture of my tent on the mountain with a lamp inside glowing it up. I love it, I do. But I have to say, this type of photography, it's just fantastic. This type of photography where it's accessible, where you're comfortable, where you really engage with the landscape, looking at every detail and every inch of the ground around you, looking for those compositions, those intimate scenes. That type of photography, I think, when you are successful, is so much more rewarding than the epic. And dare I say it, and I'm certainly no expert, but I would say the shift of that kind of epic, mega post-production mountain light, I would say that the balance is shifting now towards the more natural, intimate style of photography. I think it's changing. I think that the big epic stuff is now becoming less popular and people are starting to appreciate far more the more natural, perhaps slightly more unique scenes. Maybe. That's the impression I get. I think a lot of that is to do with the fact that we haven't really been able to travel for the past 18 months. And as well as that, this type of photography is incredibly accessible. Anyone can do it and anyone can succeed at it. But it's certainly not easy, and I'm going to prove that in today's video. So anyway, let me show you what I'm doing, because having a lot of fun. So on this particular beach, there's lots of outcrops of sandstone, and so you get this kind of incredibly weathered rock, which is all round and it looks like slot canyons from the air, that kind of thing. And there's all of these rocks and pebbles dotted around the place, and I found this beautiful composition with this kind of grey sandstone, and you can see the sun's just coming out now, so it's going to light this perfectly. It's grey sandstone with canyons going all the way through it, and then would you believe it? I mean, I wouldn't believe it, but would you believe it? There just happens to be a perfectly placed yellow stone on the grey rock. I mean, what are the chances? So with this photograph, beautiful shapes, beautiful lines, nice bit of contrast with the yellow stone on the grey rock. F16 focusing on the stone. That should give me sufficient depth of field for a sharp image front to back. A little bit of soft light just coming through the clouds, a bit of diffused light, which is just perfect. I don't want it to be too strong. I don't want that high contrast shadow. Just want a nice bit of soft light. This is a death trap. Gosh, it's like oil on rocks. So this is, honestly, this is a lot of fun. Just walking around looking at these rock pools and trying to get yourself compositions, because there's so many different shapes and textures and patterns. It's fantastic. I'm just photographing one scene now that I haven't manipulated by putting a stone in a nice position. But yeah, anyway, this is quite nice. I'm just adding on a polarizer because there is quite a bit of water in my scene and it's reflecting the sky. So I'm hoping to add a bit of contrast by adding the polarizer, because the light's gone now. You can see it's cloudy behind me, so we don't have any light. So one of the downsides with this type of photography, the kind of more intimate stuff, is that everything's got to be just so, you know, everything sort of hangs on your composition. So what I find is on this uneven terrain, it's just such a faff to get your tripod into position. It really is. But I'm hoping this little scene here that I'm shooting will be worth it. And what I'd like from today's video is to get 3 images, and then they might work as a triptych. Maybe not something I often do, but I don't know, it just feels right here today. What a faff, come on. So I like this scene. It's different to the last one in some respects. It's different colour rock, it's different patterns, it's a much tighter scene, but it's also very similar. It focuses on a single pebble, which I did not place on this occasion. So there is that. And in fact, we have a lovely tiny bit of light, which is quite nice. For me, this is about the flow of the image. Now I am going to focus stack this because I'm so close to my subject, and there is great detail in the rock, and there is great detail in the pool where the stone is lying. And I think this makes for quite a nice little image, a nice little square, and one that I'm quite happy with. Feeling good. Yeah, feeling very good. Okay, so we've got a third image here. It's the same scene. That pebble that was in the middle of the previous shot is still in frame, but I've gone for a wider scene, so I've moved the camera up and widened my focal length to incorporate more of the surrounding rock. And the pebble is still in the image, but it's not the subject, it's not the sole subject like it was previously. Instead, it just adds balance to the overall composition, as we have that pebble, that small pebble, sort of top right image. And then kind of to the left, we have a channel of pebbles that look quite nice beneath the glossy surface of the water. So yeah, another one. We are getting ever closer to that triptych. Yeah, pretty cool. So it's an absolutely glorious evening. Often when I'm out shooting, it's more of an endurance exercise, you know, really windy or cold or raining, you know, beautiful but challenging. And I do dream of conditions like this. You know, I'm always jealous of people in America and Australia and places in Europe where they get lovely warm summer evenings and they can just stand in the landscape and ponder. Quite often in the UK you can't do that. But this evening we certainly can. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just walking around the beach, just seeing what I see. I think those 3 images will work as a triptych, by the way. I think if I take the first image and put it in the middle, and then the other 2 images either side, it might work. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm going to continue looking for images, but I'm certainly in no hurry. I'm just happy to be out wandering, basically. I just advise anybody to do this. Get your camera on a warm summer's evening and go for a nice walk. Gotta be an image here. Not a good one. Not a good image, but man, if you want to see some colours. Ooh. So I got a bit overexcited just framing up this composition right now. The rocks here, the rocks just behind me there are incredible in terms of their colour. The vibrancy is insane. They are glowing orange, and then beyond that we have rocks that are glowing green in algae, and then we have this blue, this deep blue sea and blue sky. So what I saw was layers of colour, vibrant colour. Now the scene itself, not very attractive. It's all a bit ugly, and it's all looks and feels a bit mutated. But the layers of colours were enough to get me excited and want to frame it up. So I'm going to shoot it anyway, but I certainly don't think it's going to fit the triptych. And I don't even think it's that good of an image. I don't know. It was that image. It was a nice idea, but I really don't think it's worked at all. In fact, I think it's quite horrendous. It's quite horrific. But you know, I like to keep this channel honest and show all of my endeavours. So it's a shame to end on that image. Although, saying that, we're not ending on that image. We're going to end on the triptych. The 3 images that I took that should work nicely together as a set. So please, in the comments, let me know what you think about that and those 3 images and how they work together. Because photography isn't always about a single image. You know, there can be more to it than that. Look, I've had a great time. I really have. I'm gonna go home now. It's getting dark, and I'm quite tired. But I've had a great time. I'd encourage anybody to just go for a walk, especially if you're close to the coast and you can walk on a beach or anything like that. It's fantastic. So definitely get out there and do that, and just try looking a little bit closer at the landscape. If nothing else, man, it takes your mind off other things, which is really nice. So I'm going to end the video now. I just want to say a big thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. If you don't know who Squarespace are, well, they're an all-in-one website building platform. So if you need a website as a photographer, perhaps an online gallery, a blog post, a forum, a contact page, an online shop to sell, I'm just trying to think what different things websites do. I'm sure they could do more advanced things what I can think of right now. But basically, if you need a good website to host your images and perhaps to maybe sell prints, books, calendars, that kind of thing, Squarespace is the place to go because it's so easy. You don't need any web building experience. You don't have to hire a coder or hire a web design company. You can do it all yourself using a relatively... Oh, come on. I can never do these Squarespace sponsorship videos. Hello? Oh, well, you just got me right in the middle of filming. In fact, I was filming my sponsorship piece. Bye. I'm going to get fired by Squarespace. Now, where was I? Go to squarespace.com/𝐓𝐡𝐞 and give it a free try, because they've got 24/7 customer support, don't you know? And if you like your free trial, use the offer code 𝐓𝐡𝐞 for 10% off your first purchase. Right, there we go. I'm going now. It's getting dark, and yeah, it's getting late and I'm ready for bed. So until next time, thanks for watching, bye for now.